What is going on, guys? It is episode 16 of the Weekly Take podcast. It's been 16 total weeks of this podcast. We've reached almost to the end of the NFL season. That's pretty great considering, how much stuff goes on throughout a year and, everyone gets busy and kind of stuff like that. But let's actually jump right into it. NFL Championship Sunday just happened. And if you're a big football fan, this was probably the best weekend of football we've seen in a long time. The Saints and the Rams played a fantastic game. The Chiefs and the Patriots played a fantastic game. The thing is with the playoffs this year is they were kind of not too great. The thing is about them is that we had a lot of blowouts. As a huge Ravens fan, I saw them kind of get blown out, and that wasn't fun to watch. There's a lot of teams that should have put up a better fight. Chicago should have been farther in the playoffs than they should have, but the Eagles stopped that. There's a lot of things that happened in the playoffs this year, but I was really actually kind of happy with how the AFC and NFC championships sorted out. But the divisional and the wild card didn't really go up to par. It was nice to see the Eagles win, though. But other than that, it was pretty linear. Who would have guessed the 1 and 2 seeds go against each other in the AFC and NFC championship? Pretty damn boring. But it's cool to see at least New England's a number 2 seed and the Rams are a number 2 seed. So the 2 seeds upset the 1 seeds both in their homes. So Saints lose at home and the Chiefs lose at home. So we're going to get right into that. So the big elephant in the room for everyone who is a football fan, a sports fan, is this controversial pass interference call on the Saints that was missed on the Rams going against the Saints. The thing is about this call is, yes, it was a pass interference. But you got to know, as a Saints fan, you can't let this come down to the game. You can't be upset at the blown PI call when you should have been in. Why don't you blame it on the offense for not punching it in? When that offense with Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Michael Thomas, and Drew Brees, and Taysom Hill, why don't you blame it on all those guys who couldn't punch it into the end zone rather than a PI call? You shouldn't let a game come down. You shouldn't take something from a loss that you wouldn't take in a win. So I'm just saying, I'm kind of done with the controversial stuff. It shouldn't have came down to this. Yes, it was a blown call, but you're also forgetting that earlier on that drive, Jared Goff got a face mask call. Nobody called that one. So, the refs are kind of, and you guys got even in overtime. They gave you that pass interference call. So, here's the thing. If they wouldn't have called it, say they don't call it, the people are still going to find something to get upset about. You don't call it. Rams fans get upset. You don't call the Goff thing. Whoever loses, all the damn flags like to come out. All the people, he should have done this, come out of their holes. And that's just with any sport. You lose, people are going to make up an excuse. But I'm done with that excuse. Drew Brees could have played a lot better. Another thing Drew Brees could have done is not throwing it up in the air when he was getting sacked in that overtime drive to give the Rams the ball for Greg Zuerlein to kick the game-winning field goal. There's just a lot of things they could have done differently. I'm a big fan of the Saints. I liked watching their offense this year. I did pick the Rams to win this game, so I kind of looked out on that aspect. The Rams' running game, though, was missing its explosiveness. There was not a lot of stuff going on in the Rams' favor. Todd Gurley didn't even get the ball in the third quarter. Actually didn't receive a snap. He had 11 carries for 38 yards, I believe. He was held pretty low. C.J. Anderson had 86 yards on 13 carries. If you're telling me Todd Gurley has those stats and C.J. Anderson has those stats and Jared Goff only has 1 touchdown, I'm saying they lost this game. This was a super competitive game, and it was super nice to watch. But the Rams also had a great play call on that fake punt. That gained momentum for them to win this game. The Rams have a great tight end game. They have great tight ends who can come in and just receive the ball. That's super nice. Camaro is pretty silent on the offensive side. The Rams did a great job. Aaron Donald obviously getting doubled. Ndamukong Suh doing his part. Brocker's doing his part. Those 3 guys were doing their part. They're a little silent there for a second, but they maintained everything they had to do. Not Drew Brees, but Jared Goff played. Oh, right. Here's the thing about Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a great quarterback, and I have no hate on the guy because the Rams are a pretty good team. But is he a system? Nobody really knows yet. That's the thing about this guy. Like he has moments where he looks like he's more than just a Sean McVay input, but this game he kind of looked like he was just doing his part. There's a lot of quarterbacks in history that have been just this guy that goes in there just to kind of be there, if that makes sense. Like he makes his throws, he gets a couple first downs on third down, and everyone else kind of takes care of him. Todd Gurley does his part, CJ Anderson does his part. Cooper Kupp would have got open. Not obviously he didn't play this game, but I'm talking about in the season. You have all these receivers to get open. You even got Everett on the tight end side, Higbee. You got all these guys making plays. Would he be doing that if he was on Miami? Who knows? Nobody really knows. I like to see where Jared Goff does if he ever does go to a different team, but I do not think he's leaving LA anytime soon, especially if they win the Super Bowl. He is going to get paid. They will not let this guy go. Sorry, I had a little moment there. I had a burp or something like that. But here's the thing. Jared Goff was missing the running game to play a part in that. Todd Gurley and CJ Anderson need to get more involved next game against the Patriots. They're not going to beat the Patriots if they're going to be playing like this. Here's the thing. When you get in the playoffs and you advance to the next round, it's about less and less mistakes. How many much less mistakes can you afford to make? There's a lot of playoff games that happen, and these teams would have won against anybody else in the league except for that team because they're in the playoffs. You cannot settle for the things you did in the regular season. It's just the postseason bug. Everyone's got to get bit by it. Everyone's got to know what's doing, and that's why I thought the Saints would put up even bigger of a fight, but, they did a great job. It was a great game. Drew Brees just came up a little short. But that call he should have had in his head, Drew Brees should have had, okay, I'm going to take this sack. I'm going to risk fumbling it. Maybe that's what his thought was. Maybe I don't want to risk fumbling it. Drew Brees should have taken the sack against them on the 3rd and long in overtime and not thrown the duck to, I don't remember who it went to, but that interception won LA the game. Obviously, you don't really think their kicker is going to make a 55-yard field goal, but he did. Greg Zuerlein's got a leg. So Rams win this one 26-23. A little controversial, I know, but LA represents the NFC this year in the Super Bowl. I don't know what you guys are thinking on who you're going to pick, but I'm leaning towards LA for the Super Bowl this year. I know not a lot of people like to pick against Tom Brady, but I'm going to go LA. We will talk about more Super Bowl picks next week, actually, and more in depth about really that game. Really, right now, we just want to talk about what happened in the AFC and NFC Championship recap, because that is the best week of football, truly, to anyone, I think. So moving on to the next one. In Kansas City falls short by 6 points, losing to the Patriots 37-31. Pat Mahomes did his part and everything he could. Pat Mahomes was trying his hardest. He didn't mess up. He didn't really do anything bad. He had a couple overthrown throws to Williams. He had one right in the end zone he could have punched in. But he was making fantastic throws, dude. He's one of those once-in-a-generation guys, I think, that he's going to be making plays. I'm not a big Mahomes guy, but I can acknowledge that he's really fun to watch. He's starting to look like Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's why I'm starting to admire him a little bit more. I'm not as salty as I was for when they beat my favorite team, the Ravens. So I'm looking at him from more of a podcast perspective. I'm not hating on the guy as much. Travis Kelce's a fantastic tight end. Tyreek Hill is doing great things. Their interior defense, like we talked the other week with Nate, is doing great. I love that about their defense. When their defense is the lighter bright of the team, if that makes sense, I like it a lot more. I like it when the defense is the better part. It's more entertaining. Here's the thing. New England's running game, though, was looking fantastic. There isn't a lot of teams in the NFL that run the ball effectively as New England other than Seattle, Dallas, Baltimore. You got the Saints. All these teams that made the playoffs, they can run the ball. Put a team in the playoffs that doesn't run the ball. Good. So you got New England, who they run the ball good. Kansas City runs the ball good. They got, who else made the playoffs? Ravens run the ball good. San Diego runs the ball great. Actually, you look at Houston and you look at Indianapolis. They were kind of the weaker seeds of the AFC with their running game, but Marlon Mack runs the ball great. Lamar Miller is a good running back. You got good people in the AFC running the ball. And the thing is about that is that there's other teams in the NFC too You got the Saints, who run the ball great. You got the Rams, who have got Todd Gurley. You got the Cowboys, who have Ezekiel Elliott. You got the Seahawks, who have the number one rushing offense. You got the Eagles, who went a little farther than they probably should have, but they had a pretty decent run game come postseason. And then you have Chicago with Jordan Howard and Terry Cohen. These teams have good rushing attacks, and that is the recipe to get into the Super Bowl. A lot of teams who have good rushing attacks make it to the Super Bowl, other than the Broncos. The one year they had like Demaryius Thomas, all those guys, Julius Thomas, Peyton Manning. They weren't really rushing heavy. I'm not saying every team that goes into the postseason too has to have a good rushing attack, but I feel like right now it is the recipe. You want a running football team if you want to go far in this league. Next year, right now, I want you guys all to remember this. 2019, come this 2019 season, I want you guys all to remember the key to having a good football team is getting your offense off the field by scoring and converting on easy third downs and getting a good rushing game going. Because as soon as you start making people respect that and putting that extra guy down in the NFL, that one less extra guy that's 20 yards out guarding these passes is a huge fucking difference. So fucking write that down. Sony Michel's impact on this game was fantastic. He had 2 touchdowns, 111 yards, buck and 11 yards. So he's looking fucking great, dude. I really like Sony Michel. New England's defense did a great job at containing Mahomes for the first quarter. They kind of held him a little silently. The thing is that they should have done that all game. Pat Mahomes, you got to lock in all 4 quarters, and that goes with any fucking player. Even if it's a lineman, you got to lock him up for 4 quarters. The thing is, I just really liked how the Chiefs started almost coming back and made the game really entertaining. Edelman, let's talk about that muff punt. I know he did not touch it according to the officials, but it looked like he might have touched it, and he was really selling it. He's like, I didn't fucking touch it. The next fucking play, this guy, Tom Brady, throws it to him, and it bounces off his hands, and it's a pick. That is ball does not lie. If you want a real-life example of ball doesn't lie, go look at this. Watch the whole action replay. So the ball comes in. He's like this. It goes off. He doesn't catch it. And then it bounces off in the punt, and it goes to the other team, and they run and get a touchdown. Oh, nope, it didn't happen. Play later, Tom Brady throws a pick to him. Ball doesn't lie. I'm just, I'm not going to repeat myself again. Chiefs will definitely be back. Don't beat yourself up too much, Chiefs fans, because you guys are not going anywhere until you guys pay Mahomes, because he's probably looking at the first $200 million contract in the NFL when it comes contract time, and you best damn believe he's going to fucking get it. If he's not going to get it from Kansas City, who they need to pay, if they let Pat Mahomes walk, that's idiotic, and they will not let him walk. If people don't let quarterbacks like Sam Bradford walk, I guess they let Case Keenum walk. These guys, Pat Mahomes is not on Case Keenum, Sam Bradford's, Kirk Cousins level. You pay the man. Aaron Rodgers once paid, you say, all right, we'll fucking deal with it. You do not want to deal with this guy on any other team. You would rather have number 15 on your offense, and that's for damn sure. The Williams guy, Jamarcus Williams, on the I think it's Jamarcus Williams on the Kansas City Chiefs. He was playing fantastic. He's a good, solid backup. Spencer Ware's was hurt. We all know what happened with Kareem Hunt with the domestic issues. You got to respect someone like this who's willing to come in and just know his role and produce more than that. He's not just that backup who comes in and gets an easy couple yards. He comes in and he's a receiving back. He's a running back. He's everything you could really need. That's what I really admire about the Chiefs this year. They were able to plug some players in, and he in that running position is very, they could input that easily. The thing is about Brady is a lot of people are going to get upset at this. Tom Brady has not slowed down. You guys got to remember that his game doesn't cause him to do super, super athletic things. He stands in the pocket and he just slings it. He's going to do that probably for a couple more years, so get over it. Bill Belichick's going to be a great coach. They very well could probably go next year. Everyone on the Patriots knows their role, and they execute it perfectly. There's nothing about the Patriots this year that's really their weak spot, except for when Tom Brady shows some oldness when father time comes to him and knocks on his shoulder. And Gronk, was making some clutch plays. I know this whole podcast, every episode I've been saying Gronk is a shell of himself, dude. He showed up this game. He did luck out that one of his passes was not an interception that he caught and went into the receiver's hands, but he did a very great job in converting on third downs, and that's the thing about New England. It's going to be a good game against the Rams. I think the Patriots are really just going to pick them apart. And it's just they're going to play, all right, 5 yards at a time, 4 yards at a time, 3 yards at a time, and they're going to take clock, and it's the time of possession. That's what New England likes to do. They like to say, all right, we're going to hold on to the ball, and if you give us that last 2-minute drive with Tom Brady, we'll take it and we'll win. And that's usually how it goes. So, I'm still going to pick LA against them just because I really like Todd Gurley and that defense against Tom Brady, but it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. So moving into the next part, the second segment, the Pro Bowl is coming up currently. There's a lot of players, all these players are super great on their teams. As you guys know, the Pro Bowl is where everyone from every one of the teams comes in and they represent their team because they're the best player voted by the players, the fans, and all that. So to start off, I wanted to say people who did not make the Pro Bowl that I think should have made it. On the top of my list, I have Christian McCaffrey. Didn't make the playoffs. He had a fantastic year. I do get why he didn't make it. Let's say that. You got Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara. You got Christine Michael. You got Saquon Barkley. You got all these powerhouse running backs in the NFC. So I do understand. And Todd Gurley, obviously, but he's going to be the Super Bowl, so he will not be in the Pro Bowl. But, David Johnson. You got all these great players in the NFC. I do get why Christian McCaffrey got snubbed, but it does suck to see that they snubbed him because he's a very great running back, and he had a really good year. Cam Newton really wasn't executing, and he picked up a lot of the slack. I give it to the guy for damn sure, but that is definitely a snub. You look at Van Der Esch, too. Leighton Van Der Esch, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, has been playing great. They take him out on a play, and they lose the football game because of that. They took this guy out, put Sean Lee in, and then they lose to Seattle. No, the Rams. They lose to the Rams, and you're like, where is the most athletic linebacker we have on the team right now? You're saying he's sitting on the bench when he should have been in? I don't get that. Looking at the next one, Darius Leonard, fantastic linebacker, was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. I don't really get this. He's a rookie. Is that what it is? You want to give it to more of a vet? There's two. C.J. Mosley made it. I know that because he's a Raven, and I totally am blanking out. I do not have that written down. Who else made it? But you got to give it to Darius Leonard, dude. He's the rookie. Let him go have his fun in Florida and just give him that. Maybe they didn't want to vote him in because then the Colts are like, we got to fucking pay the guy more. So let's not vote him in. It's not really up to the teams, but, maybe they were rigging some votes or something. Jared Cook. Jared Cook did not make it. He's a tight end for the Oakland Raiders. Had a better season than Eric Ebron. A lot of people are really hyping at Eric Ebron. He had like 674 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jared Cook, what the hell? Snubbed. Is it because he's a veteran kind of sort of receiver? I don't know. Next one, Justin Tucker misses one PAT for game-sealing tie to go in the overtime against the Saints week 7, and you're going to snub him for that? What? And you're gonna put the Jets kicker over Justin Tucker? That is a big snub. I just don't get it. And here's the thing. If this was, I know they're obviously the Pro Bowl is obviously gonna get played by AFC and NFC. But who would win, like in reality? Like if this was an AFC championship, NFC championship type caliber game where they want to go to the Super Bowl. And you're one game away, who would win? I would honestly probably pick the NFC side. Actually, no, I would not. If you're giving me the AFC side with Pat Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins, that alone is going to mess up some of these. But the secondary, it's. I think I just got to go AFC this year. I think the AFC is going to win this game, and if it was for it to be taken seriously, man, I wish, I do not know, but I'm going to go with AFC just because I'm more of an AFC type guy. But it would be a crazy game, you ask. Actually, I think the NFC might win it. With Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly in the middle, that is fucking trouble for any fucking running back. That's going to stop any running back. That D-line with the Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, if they, we're thinking everyone, not just everyone who got, put in. It would be a fucking fantastic game. So to stay with you guys and give you guys a definite answer, I'm going to go AFC, though. I know I just typed up the NFC, but you know what? You could change your mind in things like this. That's the type of thing you could do on Weekly Take. You could change your mind. If so I'm going to AFC. If this were to be taken very seriously, I don't get why these 5 guys did not make the Pro Bowl. Maybe they're not flashy guys. I get that, but come on, man. Christian McCaffrey will definitely get a Pro Bowl here soon. Moving into the third segment, this is actually kind of a really short show. Just want you guys to let you know that it's just me today. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually kind of like it when it's just me because then I can kind of just talk about whatever. But it's a little shorter. I don't get to talk back to the people. But let's talk about the NBA before we wrap the show up. Oladipo is done for the year. Where do you rank the Pacers after this sort of thing? The Pacers now only got Evan Turner. And they're not Evan Turner. Whoa, that was a while back. They're really young. Oladipo's young. They got a lot of good players on this team. But here's the thing. When you don't have a player like Oladipo in the East right now, you're not going to catapult past the Celtics. You're not going to beat the Wizards. You're not going to beat the Bucks. You're definitely not going to beat the Raptors. You might not even beat Orlando. You need this player because he's the guy who leads you guys into the postseason. You got to win these easy games against weaker teams, and he's sometimes the guy who will take over and win those games for you. With a player like that who can truly run the 1 or the 2 spot, and a team that necessarily doesn't have a great backup like the Lakers do with Rondo and Lonzo and all that, you're really stuck. If I'm the Pacers, I'm looking for a good backup right now. I don't think they picked up point guard rookies, so they could be hurting. They probably got some guys that they know what they're gonna do, but you got to get that big name guy to come in and help out. Man, yawning. It's really hot in here. Moving into Harden, he's playing at an MVP level once again, scoring 61 at the New York Knicks home court. The last player who did that was Kobe. That kind of goes to show, the shooting guard greatness between the two. These two are playing fantastic, and it's super cool to see. Kobe not in the league and no longer. But James Harden is playing at a great level right now, and there's nothing more than awesomeness to see from this type of thing because I'm really thankful we have someone like James Harden to watch. Yes, he's not the most interesting player to see. A lot of people, when he first won MVP, everyone's like, oh, well, everyone had their own thing. Russell Westbrook is the king of just scoring triple-doubles. You have LeBron, who's catapulted a team to the NBA Finals. You have KD, who could score the ball at any point. And then you got James Harden, who's the artist of drawing fouls. And I don't mean that in a mean way. There's nothing bad about drawing fouls. This guy is making an art out of it, and he's also making it so he's mastered it. You shouldn't hate on a guy that's gotten to a pro level that knows how to manipulate the game to make sure he gets to the free throw line and sometimes make that and one to capitalize his team's points. You can't get mad at that. Yes, it's not the flashiest thing like scoring triple doubles, but you know what? He's out there hustling, and the Rockets are here to fucking play. If CP3 wasn't so injury ridiculed and he was in every game, you got to watch out for the Rockets. If the Rockets are going to play the Warriors getting a 7-game series, it's going to be a good series of, obviously the dream lineup of Cousins, Durant, Clay, Steph, and Draymond doesn't really ruin the whole league. But, that team is beatable. Everyone thinks, the Warriors are the fucking Mecca, but they've obviously lost. The year they won and they lost 9, it's a different story. They also choked the finals that year. So just because your team is super stacked, it doesn't mean nothing until you start that playoffs because there are some teams that are willing to fucking headhunt. I remember the Sonics were the number 1 seed and lost to the Spurs, 8th seed in Seattle. They were the number 1 hype. They were hype. And then the Spurs come in and just humble us. Save our Sonics, by the way, man. Kemba Walker most likely staying in with Michael Jordan. I just don't. He's got to leave there, man. Kemba Walker needs to leave Charlotte. Yes, I like the jerseys. Michael Jordan's arguably the best player of all time as your owner. That's really cool. You have Jordan as your sponsor. Dude, you need to go. So if Kemba went to fucking anywhere else, Kemba goes to the Lakers. I know Lakers is just a real easy team to say go to. It would be cool to see, but that would be fucking cool. If Kemba Walker went to Indy, The Pacers, they need a guard right now, and then they move Oladipo to the 2. He played the 2 with Russell Westbrook. That'd be fucking cool. And then they pick up someone guy like a prime Roy Hibbert. Not Roy Hibbert, but, someone like Roy Hibbert. They're fucking good. He goes to, where else could Kemba Walker could go anywhere? He'd go to the Spurs. They need a fucking guard right now. DeJounte Murray's hurt. He could go pick up some slack. Who else needs one? The Clippers could always need a good guard. You could, no, not the Raptors. They got Kyle Lowry. Man, there's a lot of places he could go. A lot of people need a good guard. Devin Booker is arguably the 1, but you can move him to the 2 somewhat. Actually, I don't know about that one. But there's a lot of teams who would love to have Kemba Walker. I know for damn sure if he was a Spur, that'd be awesome. According to Bleacher Report, James Harden is the top-ranked player of these 5. We got Harden at the 1, AD at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Steph at the 5. I somewhat agree with this. But you know what? I have a hard time putting Steph in there. That's the only thing. I really love Steph. He's one of the greatest shooters, if not the greatest shooter of all time. But here's mine. I got Durant, LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, and Harden. Yeah, I know, but I got to put Kawhi in there over AD. When Kawhi's playing, he elevates that Toronto Raptors team to a different fucking level. You got Giannis, who is arguably probably a couple years away from dunking from the three-point line. You got James Harden, who's playing fantastic right now. And when LeBron comes back, okay, here's another rant. You know the Laker fans who get upset that they got arguably the best player of all time on their team? When he's in the game, they win games. When he's not in the game, they lose games. So quit complaining about having LeBron and his injuries, because he never gets injured. This guy hardly ever gets injured. And I am ashamed. I'm sorry that this guy has to go through injury, because that's not cool. But watch out for LeBron. When he comes back, he's going to be looking for vengeance. And then Kevin Durant at the 1 spot, he's the most unguardable player in the league. You think Kawhi can be on him with the best defense in the league? He's still silently going to drop 27 on you. That's the thing about Kevin Durant. He's too tall. He's fast. He can run fast breaks. He knows how to pass the ball. He plays defense. What more do you want on a team? Loyalty, a lot, some people would say, for Kevin Durant, but I'm over the fact that he left OKC. He still is the reason why they're winning those games. It's not like he joined and he's just sitting there. He is contributing, if not more than Steph, equally is Steph. So that's all I really have for you guys today on episode 16 of the Weekly Take podcast. Thank you guys so much. If you guys ever have any sports questions, send them into the show. Comment on YouTube. Comment on SoundCloud. I check everything. If you see me on Instagram, message me there. You see me in person, ask me a question. I'll answer. I'll give you some fucking recognition. I'll be like, hey, man, this guy came up to me on campus, he wanted to know why I like the Ravens, and I'll give you a whole 10-minute spiel why I like the Ravens. And here's the thing. Thanks again, guys, for listening to this. I know it's a longer episode, a shorter episode, but it's long. 28 minutes out of your day to listen to me rant about sports. It means the entire world for you guys to listen to this. And please check out Dom Joseph's podcast. That is also on SoundCloud and YouTube. Follow me at Dominic__Joseph on Instagram. Look me up on Facebook. Look me up on YouTube. And have a fucking fantastic day, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a great one.